All right, Michelle. Michelle, where did you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Originally, I grew up in a town called Spiceland in Indiana, but I was born out in Newcastle, Indiana, like right in between a cornfield and some cattle. It's like if driving on the road, if you blink, you miss the whole town.
So very, very rural.
Very redneck.
Very redneck.
Very redneck.
So southern Indiana?
East Central.
Yeah. And you had mom and dad growing up?
Yes and no. I had my mom and my real dad until I was almost 8, and then I was, fostered and then adopted by my adopted father.
Why did your parents lose you?
Well, my real dad was the most horrible person in the world. My sister and I, we were basically like the family income. At 4 years old, my real dad started molesting me. And then before I was 7, I was like 5 or 6, he started raping me. And he let his friends rape me and my sister, and video it.
That's horrible.
It's, it kind of sucked.
Did mom your mom's?
Mom didn't care. I don't think she believed me. She said she didn't. She said that I was lying. My sister never said anything. And I told a teacher when I was in 2nd grade, and the teacher believed me, and she called CPS. So.
And that's how your parents lost you?
Well, at first they didn't. CPS, when they showed up, they never talked to me. They never talked to my sister. They talked to my mom and my dad, and they basically decided that I was trying to get attention, and I was punished for that. Because after the caseworker left, obviously they were pissed, and I don't really remember, after the first couple beatings, he beat the shit out of me, but I woke up in the hospital, and that's the next thing I remember. I don't know if I blocked it out or, but after that I went into foster care. So.
You and your sister both?
Yeah, but they separated us.
Yeah. And how was your childhood after that?
Well, I went through several foster homes. I was scared of the foster dads, the foster brothers and stuff. Anything with a penis, I was scared of it. And I had to go through therapy, I guess I call it, at the CPS office, and 3 to 5 times a week, just depending. And one day a single man, Marine, came in to turn in some paperwork or something, and he saw me, and he came up and started talking to me. And I wasn't scared of him. He was the coolest guy in the world. He asked me what I was doing. I was playing with my dolls, and he came up and he asked me what my dolls' names were. And I was comfortable around him. And then I don't know, how he ended up, getting me. I guess he asked my caseworker or whatever what my story was. And they took a chance on him, a single man, And within a year after that, he adopted me. So my life was great from 8 until almost 13. And then a month and a day before my 13th birthday, on November 2nd, 1994, at 11:02 p.m., my adopted dad shot himself in the head. And I was the only person in the house. So after that, it kind of got rocky again.
That's a heavy childhood.
Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, it kind of made me numb. Nothing really got to me after that. So.
That was 13?
A month and a day before.
Before 13. And where did your remaining teen years go?
My mom got me back. My real dad, to avoid going to jail, Well, he went to jail, and my paternal grandmother put her house up for his bail, and he took off to, I believe it was Clearwater, Florida, I think, somewhere in Florida. So he couldn't get extradited because I guess, well, obviously he didn't want to go to prison. So, I mean, especially for something like that. But,
So he avoided prison time?
yeah, he did like maybe 48 hours in the county jail before he was able to get bailed out. And that's like all he ever got. Till the day he died, there was still warrants out for him though. But when Mom got me back, it was okay at first. It was cool. She was like, she like was a shitty mom, but she was a good friend. Like I remember I was 14 years old, and on my 14th birthday, she was doing lines of coke with me. And, you know, at the time, that was the coolest thing in the world. But looking back, like, she should have had her ass kicked for that. You know, that wasn't even okay. But my sister, she's 7 years older than me. Like, she got pregnant on purpose to get out of, you know, like, foster care and stuff. So she was 15 when she got pregnant, and then on her 16th birthday, she was emancipated. And she got married to her first baby's daddy. So, like, my mom jumped around a lot in relationships. And the guys she went for were like my age, pretty much. The greatest quote I think I ever heard from that woman's mouth was, "If you get one young enough, you can raise him the way you want him." And I always thought it was kind of funny. But it was nothing to come home from school and catch one of my friends in the kitchen leaning up against the counter and my mom on her knees sucking him off. So, like, I didn't spend a lot of time at home when she was doing that. And then, like, you know, when I would be at home, half the time if she had a boyfriend or she got married again or something, half the time the guy was trying to touch me too. So, you know, but I was already kind of used to it.
Wow. What kind of kid were you in high school?
Like for a while, at first I was like really quiet, shy. It's a small town, so everybody knew what happened to me when I was little. And unfortunately, I don't know how it is out here, but in Indiana, when the kid goes into like foster care, they keep the kid in the same school, and they try to keep the kid in like the same town or like the same general area. So it doesn't like shock them to where they have to, you know, make all new friends and, you know, all that. In my case, I think it would have been preferable because like, the kids at school might not have known exactly, you know, what the case was with me and my sister, but their parents did. And kids are cruel, but adults are worse. And like, the kids weren't allowed to play with me because of what my real dad had done to me. Even though he wasn't around, you know, they didn't want their kids to be friends with me. So, you know, I was standoffish, I was quiet, I didn't have friends. And then I was like 15, 16, I kind of went wild. Like all my friends were guys and all my friends did drugs. So when in Rome, you know, then when I was 16, I was in a car accident on my sweet 16th birthday of all the days in the fucking world, all the days. My mom let me skip school, and we were going into Indianapolis. She was going to take me shopping in Broad Ripple. Now, Broad Ripple's like the artsy fashion district in Indianapolis. It was like the late mid-90s, so it was still like the whole style was like the retro, you know, throwback to the 60s. And like in Broad Ripple, they had all these vintage stores that had like all the clothes, you know, that they wore in like the Summer of Love in San Francisco and shit like that. And there was like these, old record stores, that sold real vinyl, and I collected vinyl, huge collection of vinyl. And she was going to take me shopping, and we had just gotten into the city, and we were the first car stopped at a stoplight, and a truck carrying Christmas trees rear-ended us, doing what they said was over 70 miles an hour, and the guy never hit the brake. And I remember reaching for my soda. My soda was sitting in the cup holder, and I remember reaching for my soda after feeling the impact so it wouldn't spill. Don't know why. I know it's like the stupidest thing. But I woke up a few hours after that, and the pain from opening my eyes was so intense it made me throw up. And I came home from the hospital with a prescription of Oxycontin, and which I was on for a very, very long time. Oxycontin, morphine, Percocets for breakthrough pain, 2 fentanyl patches, 1 on each hip, 72 hours. A couple times a week I go to the hospital to get a shot of Dilaudid. This is all doctor prescribed. They said I had the adult equivalent to shaken baby syndrome. So there was like a lot of brain damage, and like everyone was really surprised. Doctors and family, friends, everybody was really surprised that I was able to actually get somewhat better and like not be some kind of like retarded vegetable. That started. That's what started my opiate addiction. Before that, I did coke with my mom. I smoked weed, but I thought of anybody that did pills, pain pills or like heroin or anything, oh, they're junkies, they're pieces of shit. But by the time I was 17, I was doing heroin because the oxys didn't do anything anymore. So, at 18, I quit school. I got my GED and started working.
What kind of work have you done since?
God, a little bit of everything. Waited tables. I was actually pretty good with waiting tables. I was kind of like a people person. I worked at the Walmart, It was a redneck town, so I had to have a redneck job. I did a lot of factory work, foundry work through temp agencies. Other than that, I was a mom, stay-at-home mom.
You got married?
Yeah. My first husband, I got pregnant and we got married because I got pregnant. I had a little boy, and when he was about 15 months old, my first husband passed away. I was like less than a month pregnant with my oldest daughter and didn't know it yet. He overdosed in bed next to me, and I didn't know it. And I got up and was making breakfast and feeding my son. And the alarm clock kept going off, and I didn't know why. So when I went in and checked on him, like his eyes were open, he was cold. So that really fucked me up. I gave him the Xanax that sent him over the edge. I did. I didn't know. See, we were on methadone, and we were trying to get clean for our son, and he had relapsed, and I didn't know he had relapsed. And I gave him 1 bar Xanax because he was having trouble sleeping. He worked seconds, and he was having trouble sleeping. So I gave him a bar, and like I'd done it 100 times before. So. Thank you. Thank you. And I found out a couple weeks after his funeral, I found out that I was pregnant with our daughter, who will be 14, or who just turned 14. Oh, Lord. Oh, what am I thinking? My oldest will be 16 in a few days. It's crazy.
Where are your kids now?
Indiana. They're in foster care. I have 5 kids total, by 2 different men. My oldest 2, as just said, their dad passed away, and my youngest 3, their dad is the piece of shit that cost me all 5 of my kids. So.
Why is that?
I was working because he wasn't. He had his appendix burst, and he was off work for like a month, to recuperate, and they gave him pain pills, and he kind of got strung out on the pain pills, and but because he was off work, somebody had to work. So I started working. I worked. It was the coolest job too. I was with this company called Rocket Man. I was a walking vendor. Basically, I was the beer girl at ball games and concerts. But I got to go to a lot of really awesome concerts. But I traveled a lot. 10 days, 2 weeks on the road, doing different events. Home for 2 or 3 days if I was lucky, and then back on the road. And he was home with the kids. I was in Colorado working, the band Fish. They were doing this week-long festival in Colorado, and I signed up to work it because I had close to 10 grand in the bank that nobody knew I had squandered away because I worked on tips and commissions, and nobody knew I'd squandered this money away. And it's Colorado, and it's a hippie band. And I hadn't really partied like that since before I had my kids. So I spent a week in Colorado eating acid and smoking weed and, just having an amazing time. And it was the mountains, so my phone didn't work. And I had an Obama phone when they first came out, so my service was so shitty. If there was a tree in your yard, you couldn't get signal. So I didn't think much of it when I couldn't get a hold of my husband. And when I got home, he was gone, kids were gone. I'm like, okay, he's obviously took the kids out to do something. Well, he didn't come home, kids didn't come home. I started to flip. By the second day home, I went to the police department. Where are my kids? Who cares about the man? I was like, where are my kids? And they told me to turn around and put my hands behind my back, and they arrested me for trying to find out where my kids were. I found out, after talking to a detective, a few hours after I got arrested, that while I was gone, my second husband called CPS on himself. Come get these little bastards or I'm going to kill them. They're fucking up my high. And he hung up the phone. They traced the call. And arrested him on 5 counts: child abuse, child neglect, endangering the lives of dependents. There's 6 different charges, 5 cases of each. They tried to charge me with the same. Indiana is, it's called an all-at-fault state. Basically, because we were married, I had to know what he was doing, even though I wasn't there. And when I was home, everything was fine. I had to know. When I come home, I'd ask the kids, like, how, did you have fun? Did you have fun with Daddy? And they'd say stuff like, well, Daddy whipped me. Well, and I asked them, well, what were you doing when Daddy whipped you? Well, we were fighting, or I did this, I did that. Something a kid would get popped on the butt for. There were no bruises, no marks that were, unlike something they would have normally had, being rowdy kids. So I didn't question anything, I just thought, okay, he popped him on the butt. So I told the kids, like, well, I bet you won't do that again, will you? No. I didn't know at the time that, like, he was being really brutal with them. They tried to charge me with the same, and I took it to trial, and I won. I won my case. They found me innocent of all charges. My ex-husband, however, signed the first plea agreement they offered him. So, but even though I won my case, and I did everything right, I jumped through all the CPS hoops. When it came down to it, they told me that no single woman can work a full-time job, take care of a house, pay the bills, and still be able to get 5 kids ready for school and do all the things that needs to be done with 5 kids without help. So I don't think they ever intended to get my kids back. And when it came time for me to leave Indiana, part of the reason I left was, it wasn't because I didn't want to say goodbye to my kids, every few days. I didn't want to keep making them say goodbye to me. It broke their hearts. Last time I saw any of my kids was my youngest son's 4th birthday. He just turned 10 a few days ago. I got him a bike. I taught him how to ride a bike. It's the last time I saw my kids. Thank you. My oldest will be 16 in a few days. And my middle boy will be 13 a few days after that. My almost 13-year-old, that was my boy. That was my baby, my mini-me.
And you came to LA for what reason?
To write a book and to kill myself. The book just isn't quite done yet. So, yeah, from as long as I remember, I always said when I grew up I was going to move to LA. I was going to move to California, where it was sunny and warm all year.
Where do you live now?
I live in Koreatown.
Are you homeless?
I'm residentially challenged.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds a little better than saying homeless.
Yes. And you're still using drugs?
Yeah. Yeah, I do fentanyl. A lot of fentanyl.
Do you smoke it or inject it or?
Both. Yeah. I've overdosed something like 22 times. The first time they said that I was like full on dead for 13 minutes and 37 seconds. That was the paramedics time.
13 minutes?
13 minutes, 37 seconds. And they called time of death at 10:02 a.m. On my birthday, my 37th birthday. And my fiance, I guess I could call him, they told him to, to say goodbye to me. And when they told him that, he flipped out, and he started beating on my chest, and the paramedics, the police officers that showed up, they were all trying to pull him away, I guess. This is from what I've been told. And he just wouldn't give up. He always kind of jokes and says that he sold his soul to bring me back. I don't believe that kind of bullshit, but it's he says that he wasn't done with me yet.
How do you support yourself now?
I boost. My fiance and I, we boost.
You've been caught?
No. He has, a lot.
So boosting, which is stealing.
Yeah.
How do you go about doing this? I've heard different techniques. Some guys load up their backpack and run out the back door. Other ones are...
It just depends on the situation, depends on the store, depends on how dope sick I am. If I get to a certain level of dope sick, I'll load my bag right in front of every employee in the store and dare somebody to take it from me. I generally try to be more discreet than that. If I can, I take the reusable shopping bags, and I'll put stuff in it I'm shopping, and go into a bathroom or something and load up, or I cut the lining in my purse, or in my jacket. It just depends on how big the stuff I'm getting is.
Yeah. How does boosting make you feel? What emotions does it bring up?
I don't even really think about it.
You just do it. You need to do it.
Yeah, it's what pays for my dope. It's what feeds me.
You're stealing from a corporation, so it seems okay.
Pretty much. I stay away from the little mom and pop stores. Those people are working paycheck to paycheck. They're just one bad month of being out here, away from being out here also. But big stores like Target or Ralph's or Bed Bath and Beyond or shit like that, they have loss insurance. It's already figured into the prices that we pay. We're already paying for it, so fuck it.
If there was something you could have changed about your life that may have put you in a different position today, what do you think that might have been?
I would have never taken a job where I traveled. I would have never gone away from my kids for longer than a few hours. I mean,
having different parents might have helped too.
If I would have had different parents initially, then I wouldn't have gotten to have my dad that adopted me. It was a really short period of time, but he was the most amazing man in the world. He did everything for me. So he was really cool. He was the first person that ever really loved me. So I guess I've been spending the bulk of my life trying to find somebody to love me like that again. So.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
The most important lesson? Don't dwell on the past. When you dwell on the past, then you can't move forward into the future.
it's horrifying to me how many of the stories interviewees that I talk to share about sexual abuse in their childhoods. And yours is one of the worst. This was your real dad?
My real dad and his friends. They were fucking me and my sister. They were making us do shit to each other. And like they filmed a lot of it. Like it was weird. Like there were these VHS tapes. One of them was a Full Metal Jacket. They taped over Full Metal Jacket. Of me and my sister and this guy, we called him Uncle Buck. And, I don't know. No, Uncle Bucky. Uncle Bucky is what it was. I don't know. It was some guy that my dad worked with, my real dad worked with.
Do you think a woman ever recovers from that kind of experience as a young girl?
Not fully. I have yet to have a normal relationship with a male. I'll be 40 years old in December. And I still haven't had a normal relationship. You can never fully trust a guy. Once, you're hurt to that degree, probably at such a young age, you never outgrow it. You never get over it. You're always waiting to get fucked off again. Personally, it doesn't matter who the guy is. I'm always jumpy when a guy touches me. If I don't initiate, then like it freaks me out. And hell, it's been over 30 years and I still have nightmares. Which I kind of feel sorry for my dude having to deal with it. Like it's like he barely gets to touch me, and I know it bothers him. I know he obviously wants more than more pussy than he gets. But I just can't. I'm surprised I have 5 kids, honestly. Like, there were 3 instances that my sister and I both got subpoenaed to go to court. They found in somebody's video library on their computer, they found videos of us. And they I don't know how they did it through, there's some kind of software where, they can take the pictures of the little girls in the videos, or the kids in the videos, and they run it against, I assume DMV or something, pictures, but they can figure out, who the adult is. And my sister and I got subpoenaed on 3 different occasions to go to court and testify against guys that I had no clue who the fuck they were, that had these videos on their computers, because it was close to Indiana. And when you don't go to court, you get put in jail yourself. So
even though you're the victim.
Yeah. They don't care. They want you to relive it. They don't care. They said that by us, having to relive it, we were keeping some other little kid from having to go through it. It's like, okay, I don't care. I don't want, I do care. But that kind of set me back a long time, a lot of years that, it took me, hell, I was in my early 30s before I was finally able to talk about it openly. And I swear to God, if anybody ever touches one of my kids like I was touched, I'll kill them. I don't care. I will kill them. I won't ask questions. I will just end their fucking lives.
All right. Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your story. I wish you the best of luck out there with your
Thank you.
fiance.